The next story happened later that spring. This was the first time one of my neighbors got unalived. It was a cold night in March. I was sitting in my living room replaying Mass Effect, trying to relax, when I heard barking outside. It was my neighbor's dogs, the same neighbor whose ex had set his house on fire months earlier. At first, I didn't think much of it. Dogs barked non-stop in that neighborhood. Most people had them, pit bulls especially, and you could hear barking at almost any hour of the day or night. But then I heard yelling. That's when I started paying attention. The voices outside got louder, more aggressive. The dogs were losing their minds. Then, a loud bang, followed by another, and another, and then about a dozen more. There was screaming, and then silence. I grabbed my pew-pew off the table and moved to the window, trying to understand what had just happened. When I looked outside, my stomach dropped. Two people were lying motionless in the street. One was a man I didn't recognize, wearing a shiesty. The other was my neighbor, the one from across the street. Then a woman came running out of my neighbor's house. When she saw him, she screamed. I'll never forget that sound. It didn't sound human. Police and paramedics arrived minutes later, but that night, sleep was impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could hear was her screaming in the street. A few days later, I learned what had really happened. A group of 5 masked men had been walking down our street and decided to try to break into my neighbor's silver Lincoln SUV. His dogs alerted him, and he went outside to confront them. Things escalated fast. One of the masked men pulled a pew-pew. My neighbor reacted first. He pew-pewed the man who drew on him, unaliving him on the spot. But that was all he could do. The others pulled their own pew-pews and metal poke and slicers. My neighbor was pew-pewed more than a dozen times, and then poked about another dozen. I can still see the scene clearly, the street, the flashing lights, the stains from the Life Kool-Aid soaked into the pavement. After that night, my then-girlfriend and I finally accepted the truth. It was time to leave. We started getting everything ready to move as fast as we could. But before we got out, we would experience one more disturbing event.